Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we're back with another live stream of Hearthstone. Today is January 19th, 2018, Friday, and we don't have a ton of things to do, particularly, but we do have a ton of news. We're still kind of reeling, or at least I'm still kind of reeling with the announcement from YouTube just basically kicking all the small YouTubers in the testicles and laughing at them. It seems like things might not be as bad as possible. We want to keep the pressure up. One thing that occurs to me here, let's go ahead and open this pack, is I've seen in businesses, and particularly California businesses, and that's what I would say YouTube is, where they fire people, but then they say, if you can reach this goal, we won't fire you. And the goal is always ridiculously high, and they're gonna fire you anyways. And for me, starting off with only 222 subscribers, like, whatever scam or attempts I try to do to get 800 subscribers, I feel like there's a decent chance YouTube's just going to come back and say, no way, you couldn't have gotten that many subscribers. We specifically set that number too high so that channels like you could never make it. So we're still going to kick you out. And the only thing that getting that 1,000 subscribers seems like it might do is just prevent me from having to go to let's see, well, I guess all I need to do is deal 100 damage to an enemy, so let's just make sure we've done the tavern brawl and go ahead and play some ranked play on this European account. So yeah, maybe do Murloc. We'll just play ranked Murloc, why not? I feel like since the whole point there is to get people out, they're going to get people out. I also kind of ran the calculation, and I may actually not have enough watch time. I have like 230,000 watch minutes when you needed, I think, 240,000 watch time in the last 12 months. Now, arguably, is that in the year of 2017, or is that the 12 months of January to the end of January 2017 to the end of January 2018? Because if it was 2017, then nothing I do, even if I do get 1,000 subscribers, is going to allow me to stay in there in the partner program. And I don't want to do something that's going to be some kind of justification for YouTube to just say, you cheated, you couldn't have possibly done this legitimately. I mean, surely I really haven't been trying to get subscribers. That's the absolute truth of it. I've been trying to create good content, and that's why my channel's smaller than it was. YouTube in their recommendation algorithm also has not been trying to help channels like mine get subscribers. And so almost 100% of the blame, the fact that I have such a low subscriber count, is YouTube's recommendation algorithm. My content is not that bad. My content is not as bad as the Vine compilations and the spam and the total garbage that's on YouTube that has hundreds of thousands of subscribers. I also went through all my subscriptions and just looked at other channels that I'm following, and most of the channels I'm following at minimum have 100,000 subscribers. In fact, I could only find one channel I was subscribed to that had less than 100,000 subscribers, which tells you that even as just a general YouTube viewer, I you don't get those channels put in front of you. Like, Reddit doesn't put videos of non-famous people in front of you. If you're watching the front page, maybe there's a channel out there that does do something like that, but like a subreddit that does that, but not the front page for sure. And I went back to vote.co, which, man, that place is still not successful, nor as it was really mentioning, so that's no good. Facebook's the same. Facebook doesn't get me any views. So if I was streaming to Facebook, which I suppose would be the place to go to, if it's just to start putting all the videos directly into Facebook's streams and get away from YouTube completely. But yeah, that didn't give me any views. So I'm trying to take it a little bit laid back. I'm trying to keep, like I said, I didn't do any recording. I just built Lego. I'm still doing a really, really big Lego thing, so I'm not even, maybe halfway through with it after 2 days. Like, one step took at least 4 hours to do. And so that's what I think I'm going to also do this weekend. Well, I think I probably would be cool to go back and continue playing Resident Evil 5, and I'm not going to like burst into tears or something, or just sound mopey and depressed. I might. I mean, I'm sort of mopey and depressed right now, and the only thing is I'm thinking this weekend I'm going to try and do a marathon, of a live stream marathon as soon as this is done, and just see. We might as well push it. Maybe if YouTube gets enough backlash and they see that everybody is now trying to subscribe to everybody else to save their channel, that YouTube will get the message that no, people actually do care about small channels. There's been an extremely high amount of famous YouTubers that don't care, because frankly they didn't get money when they started, and they're like, well, this is just chump change, and it's not about the money, it's about the features, really. And it seems like maybe I'll still be able to live stream. I haven't heard any news if about going back to less than 15-minute videos, because that would certainly kill my channel. Scheduling videos, I think I saw you'll still be able to do, so you'll still be able to live stream, still be able to schedule. My channel would just not be able to make any money. Now, on a personal reason, one of the reasons I wanted my channel monetized is to say I was actively making this channel my full job. And it's harder to make that argument when it's literally not making any money at all. Like, because I can phrase something that, even though YouTube never paid me any money in 2017, I could say I earned money in 2017. If I'm demonetized all of 2018, I can't say that. I suppose I can, because I'll have earned a little bit in January, but if it takes me 4 more years to get up to 1,000, or I just never get up to 1,000 again, which is a very good possibility, and they just move the goalpost again, that's not great. That's not helpful as far as part of my goal of this being running a YouTube channel and being able to transfer that to a resume if I ever needed to go work at a different job. It was always going to be incredibly difficult to explain to somebody that I was running a YouTube channel, and not have that person just immediately roll their eyes anyways, but it certainly doesn't help anything. So yeah, I think I'm gonna run a marathon and go for a big subscriber push. And see, now we have two things. Can we cycle any of these out? Nope. Man, Yorp's setup is always weird. But I've gotten like 9 subscribers in the past week. If maybe 6 of those were not. Maybe about 3 of those were not related to YouTube doing what it's doing. And I certainly appreciate those 9 subscribers, but that's not going to save anything. I'm trying to post my channel at youtube.com, www.youtube.com/c/Rydo of all with no spaces, RYDOOFALL all together. But in most people's chat and things like that, you can't post URLs on YouTube, as people may have noticed. So it's pretty impossible to even promote your own channel on a live stream or in comments. If you put hashtags, several people put hashtags on my video, and it all got held with review, and I never got any notification about it. So I had to go back and look and see. Technically, subs things are a violation of YouTube. So the idea of somebody subscribing to me just to subscribe to me and expecting me to subscribe back, it could get a strike and get a channel deleted. Guideline strike. That being said, I went back to all my old subscribers, and I thought, as a way to thank you, as this might be the beginning of the end of my channel, is to subscribe to their channels. And most of their sub channels have no subscribers, 1 subscriber, 2 subscribers. But I figured, you sub to me, I'll sub to you. Previously, I was only subbing to the biggest people like PewDiePie and such, and that was not doing anything to promote my channel. I thought the channels I was subscribed to might give YouTube's recommendation algorithm a hint on who I'd like to be in the same group with, but not really. In subbing to all my subscribers, it turns out you can only sub to 200 people a day, and it seemed, from what I've seen, 2,000 in total. So even if there were going to be roving bands of channels that are going to try and save small channels, it's only going to go so far. But I think that's enough of that until we get into a news story that's something building around that. And we've got a ton of news that I want to get through. And I don't want this to be a particularly long stream either. It'd be nice if somebody got in the chat and just talked, you know. Feels kind of lonely. You feel kind of rejected when somebody literally rejects you. Let's see. This. Kill this. Attack this. Microsoft wants the Horizon developer to resurrect Fable. Seems a little crazy that they would have shut down Lionhead Studio and then brought back Fable, but I guess that inherently is just a lack of confidence in Lionhead Studio, and Microsoft still has confidence in the game. I'd much prefer them having confidence in the game and shutting down the studio and employees than saying we're never going to make this game because it's never going to be successful. Neither one of those are very good options. I'd prefer them not to fire people and continue to make games, but clearly we can't get what we want in this world very often. Let's see. Fortnite's Battle Royale big map update went live and quite a couple days ago. Not too much to really say there. Bloomberg here has an article. The thing about YouTube's issue here is their claim that they're kicking out small channels because of the Elsagate channels and little terrorist videos. And neither one of those are actually going to get kicked out in vast numbers. Like, because the Elsagate videos were specifically manipulating the algorithm to get way more watch time and way more views. So maybe if the Elsagate videos don't have 1,000 subscribers, they'd get kicked out. But I'm pretty sure they're lying to themselves if YouTube's lying to itself if they don't think that if you can make thousands of Elsagate channels, you can also make thousands of Elsagate channels to subscribe to each other. The other thing, though, also is that the Elsagate channels, I believe, were not part of a YouTube partner program in the first place. I believe they were part of a multi-channel network. And so they could have solved that easily just by kicking out that multiple channel network and be tighter on that. And boy, would people not be complaining if they said a bunch of MCNs have been kicked out of the YouTube and all the people in those MCNs are now available to become YouTube partners, part of the YouTube partner program. Okay. So here's the updated information. Cards. All creators can use cards, however, linking to an external website from cards is a feature that is currently only available in YouTube partner programs. Channels that currently have access to these features will continue to have access to these features even if they're no longer a YouTube partner program. We're building out new eligibility criteria for the external linking feature, which is probably to say that it's going to be even harder. And see, all of this was announced and not thought through and not communicated well at all. And if this was, I mean, this change is supposedly supposed to be in response to things before PewDiePie, before Logan Paul. Like, this is not the response to them at all, is what they keep saying. So they've had almost a year to work on this, and yet they don't have it polished or response. Creator Studio, you don't need to be a part of the YouTube partner program to use the Creator Studio. Custom URLs, you don't need to be part of the YouTube partner project to claim a custom URL. Good, because I have a custom URL, and that would really suck to lose my custom URL. Although I would prefer to have a shorter custom URL, just youtube.com/c/Rydo would be nice, but I didn't. It was already taken. Custom thumbnails. You don't need to be a part of the YouTube partner program to use custom thumbnails. You just need to verify your account by phone. And I had heard something completely different, but this is what YouTube's saying, so I suppose I have to believe them until I can prove them liars and what yet again. They do lie about a lot of things. In-screens. All creators can use in-screens, however, linking to external websites is a feature that's currently only available to YouTube Partner Program. When the YouTube Partner Program eligibility requirements are updated on February 20th, channels that currently have access to these features will continue to have access to these features if they're no longer. Well, building out a new eligibility criteria. So a lot of these things are just saying we're going to build out new criteria. It seems to me that there's a chance here that one department is in charge of one feature and another department's in charge of the other feature, and there's a lack of communication and cooperation between the things. Live streaming, you don't need to be a part of YouTube Partner Program. You just need to confirm that your channel is verified and that you have no live stream restrictions in the last 90 days. Scheduling uploads. You don't need to be part of the YouTube Partner Program to schedule uploads. YouTube Analytics. You don't need it. Features affected by YouTube Partner Program eligibility requirements. You currently need the YouTube Partner Program to use some monetization related features. When YouTube Partner Program eligibility requirements are updated, only channels that are in the YouTube Partner Program will continue to have access to these features. Super chat and sponsorships, and of course monetization. Let's see, you need both. If your channel drops below 4,000 watch hours in the previous 12 months, ads won't run on your videos. Interesting. Let's see. So here's the new requirements for the channel is 4,000 watch hours in the previous 12 months ongoing and 1,000 subscribers total before it will be reviewed to join the program. If your channel drops before 4,000 watch hours in the previous 12 months, ads won't run on your videos. Note that in case of temporary drops, i.e. your channel drops to 999 subscribers for one day and then returns to 1,000, your channel may not be removed. So it's this ongoing thing, which in all inherent, like this part of this new information is the idea here is that a lot of these channels that are working to get themselves 4,000 watch hours and 1,000 subscribers may very well still get kicked out. Seems like that's the case. Watch time report default showing watch hours in minutes, so let's change it to see. Let's see if we can open that out. Watch time hours. Let's see. I need to keep playing. So, last 365 days is probably the appropriate thing. And then you have to come down and watch time minutes. So how do we change this to watch time hours? I don't see a button here. I literally don't see a button. Okay. Like, literally, there's no button here that says how to change this into watch time hours. I'm right on this web, on the thing. So their own thing is lying to people. Moving on. Right now, in the last 365, I have 237,000. So I'd need 3,000 more watch minutes. And let's see, there's 60 minutes in an hour, and there's 24 hours in a day. So you're talking several days of constant watch time by one person, or extra, or several people watching it, which, okay. Moving on with the news, there's an Alien Games in the works. I guess I should wrap up a little bit there. It's like, inherently, it looks like my channel will still work on YouTube. It'll just not be monetized. This probably will move into shilling more things. It might also mean that I could cover things that are less, that have to do with content ID a little bit more, but you still have to run the risk of, if you're gonna play things you know from the beginning are gonna get claimed, you might get copyright strike too, and then your channel's in trouble again. But yeah, I'm still not really happy. Definitely not happy. Still want to get 1,000 subscribers. Still want to get the watch time up to make sure I'm there. I want my channel to actually succeed, and I wanted it to succeed naturally. I wanted people to come naturally and be real fans, but YouTube has thrown a monkey wrench in that works. Now it's on their time. Now it's, we've got to get 1,000 subscribers, and it doesn't matter if they watch, and it doesn't matter if they're good fans, and it doesn't matter if they're going to contribute. It doesn't matter if they enjoy the thing, the content. It doesn't matter if they're going to put hashtag save Rydo or hashtag save small channels. Like, they don't care about that. Now, YouTube just wants people that are big, people that have a bunch of unengaged fans, which is not good for advertisement. And YouTube just wants to help the big channels get more money. So they can turn around and pull another Logan Paul, probably, is what they're gonna, that's YouTube's reward that they're gonna get, is they're gonna get a bunch of big channels that A, leave the network, and B, cause more controversy. Anyways, moving on. Apparently there's a new Alien game in the works by, I believe it's a WB studio that hasn't done anything. It couldn't be worse than Aliens Colonial Marines, from what I hear. So there is the Aliens movie that's coming out, so that makes a lot of sense. I look forward to seeing some actual artwork and some progress on that. Xenoblade Chronicles 2 has a DLC for new quest packs and version 1.2 update January 19th in Japan. So I imagine we will see that come pretty quickly in the West, because I'm pretty sure Xenoblade 2 is in the West. D3 Publisher has announced some Switch downloadable titles. The games they're announcing are like Billiards, Tennis, The Men of Yoshiwara. So some of those you probably know what they are. One of those you probably don't. So Tennis is obvious. The Men of Yoshiwara is a visual novel, romantic simulator, uh, classic Japanese men of the like Shogun era, I would guess, and you're, I believe, you're playing as a girl, you're making your pick of men. Escape Trick 35, Fateful Enigmas, Billiards. Oh, there's two Men of Yoshiwaras. There's like Men of Yoshiwara Kikiya and the Men of Yoshiwara Ogiya. These are all very, just like, very much trashy. Not good for Switch's eShop. Downloadable lineup, really. You don't want to flood the store with garbage. There's a Mario Tennis, I believe, that was announced, so this tennis is going to conflict with that. The visual novel thing, I suppose, might sell on a few people, to a few people, but that's kind of it. There's a manga creation game for the PS Vita and PlayStation 4 called Manga Kakaru. I don't know why that isn't Mangaku. No, how do you say that word? Mangaka, I believe, is a manga creator. So I don't know why they wouldn't go the full length and say that. And then I don't know what Kakaru means off the top of my head. The thing about manga, of course, is very rarely is it colored in. Let's watch the trailer. This is very interesting, actually. So you're I think a lot of it will probably be pre-animated parts of a scene or entire scenes, and you're just adding the text, and this is all in Japanese, and there's a very decent chance it will never come over to the West. Yeah. Oh, it's 3D models in black and white that you can rotate and position and pose. This is actually working a lot better in this trailer than I thought you could get done. And then there's like backgrounds and scenery. This manga style, though, doesn't look that great, honestly. I think you would have done a lot better to have a very good, very recognizable artist. And it seems like with one button press it went from black and white to color. So all of these 3D models are in color by default, and then you switch them back around. By default they're colored, and then they take the black and white out. And you can publish these things to a dedicated website. I suspect there would have been a lot of Western teenagers that are in the manga. They would love something like this because they think they can write some story, but they can't draw, and this would work pretty well to get them halfway. Now, ideally, this should be a PC thing with a lot more features, but it's not terrible. It really isn't terrible as a starting step. Of course, if you are an artist and you wanted to do something like this, I don't see how this software would help you much, because it's not going to write the stories for you. At best, you could go to the dedicated site, read the stories, and then steal the stories and reanimate it yourself, which that's not gonna work that well either. Let's see. Players will be able to freely arrange the abundance of characters, speech bubbles, scenery, and effects to create a manga. A first chapter generator will also be included, which lets users generate the manga by simply playing through an adventure game. Players will be able to upload the mangas they create. PS4 version is also planned, with information due out soon. I think they certainly are being a little Japanese centric there, because you could take the same software and make it comic books instead of manga, and there wouldn't be too much of a change. I would also argue that there's some paneling issues that aren't being addressed as far as I see in the trailer. It's single sized frames, square frames. So anything unique where one frame overlaps another frame, or one panel is bigger than another panel, which often happens in comic books and manga, that doesn't seem like that's how that works. It's more of a film strip that seems to just scroll up and down. And there's probably little thought for lettering. Probably pretty bad thought for line art and coloring, since it's all just pre-made. And I bet there's not a ton of variety here. But maybe this will be the next big thing. Maybe it'll just get bigger and bigger. And maybe it will be sold as comic book creator in the West. Moving on, Earth Defense Force's 5 shipments and digital sales top 300,000, which that's pretty high considering I've never heard of this game. Earth Defense Force 5 doesn't even look like it's that. Let's see. I guess I can get to 5 here. There you go. Earth Defense Force 5 launches on the PS4 in Japan on December 7th. So it did launch, but it hasn't come to the West. Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm Series shipments and digital sales top 10 million in comparison. So that tells you something. Although that is the entire series, so that's a bunch of PS3 games and PC games and Xbox One games. I could go through the list, but there's about 10 of them. So it's still, in my mind, kind of rather hard to justify ever playing a Naruto game. I would almost have to try something like Street Fighter or Blaze Blue. Yeah, I'd probably try Street Fighter, then Blaze Blue, and then several other of the more known fighters, then the Dragon Ball Z series, and I would have to be burned out on all those series before I go, alright, let's do the Naruto story game, because I don't I don't really care enough for that story. It's like Naruto is just not interesting enough to me. Let's see. I guess this is not really news. It's an announcement of an announcement in Japan. So we'll skip that. And actually, there's several announcements of announcements. So there's going to be an Ask the Staff broadcast for the Digimon Game Company on January 27th, but they're going to be speaking in Japanese, so like Westerners not welcome, I'm sure. Destiny 2's faction rally tokens are being throttled in yet another baffling misstep. Destiny 2 is a mess. It's still a mess. I don't even care enough to read any more about that story. Final Fantasy 15 PC release date. 4K specs confirmed. Final Fantasy 15's Window Editions. It's coming out March 6, 2018. Do we really need to know anything else? Not really. Here's an editorial. Winter games are too bloated from PC Gamer. Let's see. They're showing a picture of Assassin's Creed Origins, Nier Automata, I believe Red Dead Redemption. And they're talking about the chapter titles are Long Journeys Ahead, mandatory side quests we can live without them, good side quests versus bad side quests. They're showing Skyrim. Skyrim, surely too big of a game. Too big of a game. And then The Witcher 3 did it best, obviously. PC Gamer in love with The Witcher 3. And fair enough. I mean, I love The Witcher 3 too, but they're still talking about it nearly 2 years later. And let's face it, I love The Witcher 3 just fine. I didn't buy the DLC. Also, I got The Witcher 3 from Good Old Games because it came free with my video card. So if anybody wants to support my channel and donate like the complete collection of The Witcher 3 and particularly the DLC, which would require the base game, on Steam, that would be very, very nice. So I could go back now a year later and play the Blood and Wine DLC and all that. Let's see. I don't even know what this game is. And I'm having a hard time even figuring out what it is. Oh, this is Fist of the North Star. Man, I'm going to have to memorize Fist of the North Star's Japanese name. It's Hakuto ga Goteku. It's due out on the PlayStation 4 March 8th in Japan and in Standard and Century's End Premium Editions. It looks like it's more of an RPG than I thought it was going to be. It's still a brawler, but it seems like he's driving cars and doing other things. I don't know. I never actually sat through watching all of, or any of the Fist of the North Star series. I know what it's about, and I understand the appeal there, but it just didn't seem like it didn't catch me at the right time. Everybody wants to greet me. Gama Sutra has the nuts and bolts of Fable 3. Since there's talk of a new Fable, you probably don't need to go back. Excuse me. You probably don't need to go back and look at Fable 3. I think if there is a new Fable, it's going to be a good jumping on point, and inherently what I would prefer, there's two major things about the Fable series that we don't want to see. I don't want to see you getting stuck in the middle of the game and then time jumping forward, because there was one point where you're trapped in this jail and you just kind of are stuck in the jail until you decide to leave or until you figure out how to leave, and you do that at like a youth-ish point, I believe, and then when you get back from the jail you're a full-grown adult and time has jumped forward quite a bit and everything's different, and it was very unnatural. And that's, you were in a youth-ish form when you entered the jail, but you weren't actually a youth, because there was in one of the Fable games, you played for like maybe 30 minutes as a kid and as a tutorial level, and then it skipped forward again. And then also the big thing is you don't want at the end of the game for it to kill your dog and give you one wish to either bring back your dog or your wife who also was killed, or to get a bunch of money or a strong weapon or something. Like it was a very poor choice. It was kind of tasteless and done just out of the blue to kill your dog. And eventually, I think they put a DLC in it. Fable is also the series where you can sleep with prostitutes and get STDs, and you can use condoms, and like all of that stuff probably should just for historical sake be there, but I would like to see a lot of that stuff more streamlined and linear. There was a lot of side quests and side things you could do, a lot of purchasing a property, a lot of things that would have played when Fable was originally available, but now have this extra element of being time wasters, and we're not really in a good place to want to play games that are full of time wasting elements. Well, Dead or Alive Extreme Venus Vacation has a new trailer out, and that would be great and all, except for it's only available in China on PC via the DMM game portal. Dead or Alive has specifically said that they're afraid of they're afraid of backlash and extreme feminists harassing them because of the Dead or Alive Extreme series, which is a bunch of the Dead or Alive fighter girls in bikinis playing volleyball, lying on the beach. It's cheesecake. It's a cheesecake game. That's all it ever was. That's all it ever wants to be. And we've now gotten down to the point where the Japanese companies are afraid to bring it to the West, to any foreign country whatsoever. Part of what I assume the Dead or Alive Dead or Alive Extreme series was doing is it was giving the team something to do in between making actual Dead or Alive fighting games and letting them improve their graphics and the animations. So while in the Extreme series it may be girls lying on the beach and casually moving from one pose to another, those were actually teaching people and helping people improve the main game. It might be the case that you could go to the DMM games portal and be allowed in. Let's see what happens when I go from the West. But I imagine you would need a Japanese. You need to be able to read Japanese, it seems, and you would need a Japanese credit card. And so yeah. Yeah, it's all in Japanese, so I don't think you're going to be able to do that. Some of it's in English actually, but not enough. It has come to my attention that it seems like in Japan, special interest groups do have a history of suing, and there must be some kind of laws in Japan that makes it a little bit easier to sue people out of existence. So if it is the thought that the Japanese think that there's some kind of special interest group that could sue them and put them out of business, or they just don't want the hassle of it, that could explain a lot. A lot of it probably, though, is not actual law. It's just mentality and just what they think the world is and what they're being told. Moving on, there's a game called Fantasy Hero Unsigned Legacy coming to the Switch January 25th. It's a re-release of a 2014 PS Vita action RPG. Well, have we done everything we need to do? Nope. Figured that that's not the case. I wouldn't be surprised if this one doesn't come to the West either. Let's watch the trailer. While the Switch certainly could do with a Japanese RPG, thing, I don't see the point of something that's not recognizable being ported over. Well, I just don't think they'd put the money and effort into it. Yeah. With the Switch being portable, though, it makes a lot of sense. It makes a lot of sense to play one of those long-running RPG games, whether Japanese or Western, which it's still very weird that those are the only two options in the video game industry, but it kind of makes sense. Well, either you're a gamer or I got the story wrong. This says Fox buys the developer Cold Iron Studios to begin work on a new alien shooter. I don't think Cold Iron Studios has made anything. Yeah, they haven't released any games under its own moniker, so they bought a company with no proven track record whatsoever. Let's go ahead and keep playing. One of the things here I'm looking at the YouTube point again is Susan, the CEO. I'm not even gonna try and pronounce her last name ever because it's Wojcicki, which I assume would be pronounced Wojcicki, but I don't know. Like, I've been following her on Twitter recently, and she is not talking about the changes to YouTube at all. She's talking about like female comedians on YouTube, and she's desperately trying to change the subject or just doesn't care. Both of which are probably true. February 4th, there's going to be an announcement for Puyo anniversary. Puyo is, I believe, kind of a Tetris spinoff. I think it plays a little bit different than Tetris, but not to the point where I'd say it's much different. And it's been around for a long time, so and it might have some spin-offs that don't even play like Tetris anymore. So that'll get announced in Japan, and we'll probably hear about some new Puyo game. Let's see. Yeah, here's a video that Susan, the CEO of YouTube, made. Hoo-ha plus YouTube space women in comedy, and it's WHOHAHA, one word is the first word there. So it's not like hoo-ha as in a childish way to refer to either your, I don't know, is the hoo-ha a reference to female genitals or an anus? I would assume it would be female genitals. Like, or maybe it's just kind of a global word that means both. Let's see. Assassin's Creed Origins first DLC will arrive next week. We already knew that. The Hidden Ones. Neo Atlas 1469 is coming to Switch April 9th, 19th in Japan. Man, let me try that again. Neo Atlas 1469 is the name of the game. It's coming to the Switch on April 19th in Japan. What is this game though? New Atlas, which I think that probably implies it's like a transversing the globe game. I'm seeing a map. You seem to be flying over the map a lot. Seems like you're getting some dialogue choices. It seems like it's some kind of strategy game. Some kind of strategy game with a lot of talking in it. Yeah, there's nothing here that interests me, and I'm not sure it's going to translate over. Age of Empires Definitive Edition gets a new release date. It was originally supposed to be out in October, but it's been pushed back to January 29th. It's kind of late to push it back in the middle of January to January 29th. Let's look at Age of Empires Definitive. This is the Microsoft game, isn't it? Microsoft owned it. It's a remaster of the 20-year-old real-time strategy game. Yeah. And with Microsoft doing a remaster of Age of Empires, and I believe somebody directly asked Bill Gates to make a remaster of Age of Empires, and Bill Gates, sitting on the board of Microsoft, actually brought it up, and that's the only reason why this is happening. Which it's kind of a testament to Bill Gates that that would work, and he wouldn't just have ignored it and given a bunch of platitudes. I don't know if I have time to play this, and since it's a Microsoft game, I'm not sure it's going to come to Steam. Like any of these real-time strategy games, it's going to be hard to find the time. And if I was going to play any, I'd probably want to play the Command and Conquer series, since I already bought that. We already talked about that news. We got some job listings, but let's make sure these aren't the same ones. No, they're new, but I think I'm going to skip those. And we already talked about this. And nobody's on right now because it's Friday. We already talked about that one. Magic the Gathering Arena developers explain how they will hand out cards. It's free to play, but the developers say the gameplay items won't be locked behind real money purchases. So how is this going to work? Gold earned through gameplay and gems, which are purchasable with real money. Gems can be used to place in place of gold to speed along things. But while there are some cosmetic items that are restricted to real money under purchases, there won't be any gameplay content that can only be unlocked with real money. Oh. So that's a rather disingenuous way of explaining things, to say, oh yeah, you're not going to be able to buy cards with real money. You're totally going to be able to buy booster packs and draft packs and individual cards and wild cards and the vault. Every time you open a booster, you're in progress towards unlocking the vault, which when you collect a 5th copy or more of a card, you're in progress instead of adding that card to your collection. None of these system currencies are being tested or locked down, and real money gems won't be added to the game until the free-to-play elements are being worked out. I'm sorry, I've just seen too many Magic the Gathering games go for 1 year and then get replaced again by a different version of the game in the next year to decide to even think about trying to play that game. And there's no like real Hearthstone killer that's gonna tell me that I want to leave all the cards I have on my main account and my secondary accounts to go start new decks. If anything, I could see myself making the argument just rage quitting Hearthstone, quit doing the live streams, quit bothering to read the news, just be ignorant, just don't know, and don't have an audience that knows what's going on in the video game world, and just play other games that I'm more interested in, because let's face it, it's often extremely frustrating to get all of these daily quests done and stay up with Hearthstone, and plenty of people fall out of it and come back. Let's see. Epic has Gamasutra has an article called "Epic Candidly Discusses the Challenge of Making Paragon Sustainable." I imagine Paragon is just not sustainable as a MOBA. So I'm not gonna read that. Man, there's so many different people talking about YouTube. Inherently, a lot of YouTubers put up videos talking about YouTube's change just to get themselves more views. And that's all they did. They did not want to help. They didn't really care if they informed. They just wanted to use this latest controversy as another reason to get themselves some more views, get themselves some more ad revenue. At this point, I'm thinking maybe complete ad blockers on YouTube at all times, and then turn it off temporarily when you go to a small YouTube channel. Like, just give no revenue and strangle out the big channels. And don't watch. Well, in general, that doesn't solve anything. People need to literally not watch the big channels. Like any big channel that doesn't want to support small channels is forgetting where they came from, forgetting the struggle, forgetting how unfair it was for the big channels in the old days. It's taking for granted how lucky they are. It's just not supporting the YouTube community, because before this, I kind of felt like we were all one community, but now it feels like, no, there's a rich upper class of YouTube that doesn't care about any of the middle or lower class. And don't worry, the middle class of YouTube will be the next ones to go. The No Man's Sky ARG is back in action, which probably is an implication that they're finally starting to get some kind of multiplayer into No Man's Sky. Too little, too late. There's literally nothing you could do with No Man's Sky. Just, they need to quietly be done with it. I mean, maybe at this point it's just a point of pride to say we actually finished the game, and we're going to ensure that Um, what am I trying to say? That they should just maybe they just as a point of pride want to finish No Man's Sky so that the creator of No Man's Sky doesn't lose all his credibility and he never is allowed to make another game. Like, it would be unlikely you couldn't get away with making another game anyways if you stopped right now, but it'd be interesting. In slightly surprising twist, I guess not really surprising because what is the name of this game? I never remember the name of this game. We Happy Few, yeah, that's the name of it. Its release schedule has been pushed back, and they're offering refunds to people who bought it in early access if you want a refund. Honestly, I feel like you probably should get a refund and come back to We Happy Few when and if it ever actually turns out to be a good game. Because its visual style is the visual style of something you would expect from a single player storyline based game, and instead of it being that, it is a random roguelike like survival game, sort of trying to be like Minecraft way too late now. If there was going to be any single player experience in it, it's not what's being shown in early access. Let's see. The National Video Game Museum retweeted a YouTuber that went through it and did a walk through it, and it is a nice looking place. I think most gamers will eventually, particularly as you get older and get nostalgic for things that you may not have even had in your youth, you'll want to come back and look at things. Like, I am seeing shelves here of prototype games, things I can't even recognize. Apparently hubcaps that are video game related. There's art painted on the walls. It's a nice looking place. Now, I would argue, wow, they have like an entire section of TVs just floor to ceiling on scaffolding. I would argue this is probably not the best museum to take a very young kid to. Somebody who's 14, 15, 16 would appreciate it a little bit more. Somebody who's wants thoughtful about the history of video games. Not somebody who wants to just play the Nintendo Switch, because that's not what you're going to find. And while they do have arcade games, you're not going to probably have as much of a cool arcade experience there compared to everything. They have like a whole wall of Pong, different variants of Pong. They're showing off Puppy Pong. I've never even heard of this. And then they have a lot of giant TVs and giant controllers. They're showing off walls of portable consoles, Game Boys, Game & Watchers, other things. A lot of stuff, and it's going to be a lot more stuff. They have a fake store section where games are just in bins and on the wall, and there's a bounce check on the wall. They have the sewing machine that's controlled by a Game Boy. That was an interesting Chinese thing. And instead of having a dedicated system to control the sewing machine, they just made a Game Boy app and used the processor in that. NES Zapper, man, I'm just gonna watch this entire video. It's only 7 minutes and 45 seconds. I recently found that there was a modified versions of the Famicom Satellaview games. There was this thing where you plugged into your Famicom, and if you had satellite reception, you would download parts of games or whole games at specific times. So like you had to schedule it like primetime TV to play a game. And particularly there was a Zelda game, and they were able to either recreate or capture some of that satellite broadcast and build the game back and turn it into something playable these days, since this was a long time ago. Now they're showing off the arcade. The arcade does have a decent selection, but here's the problem with this is a lot of these games are probably historically relevant more than they are fun games. I'm not seeing any of the crazy arcade style games that are no skee ball, no basketball, no Cruising USA type things. These are stand up in front of a TV and press buttons type things. Well, this will kill both of them. There's a lot here I'm not mentioning on this video, but it's definitely worth watching. Let's see. This is Kelsey Levin, and it retweeted it. So here, I'll just like the video, and then by liking it, it'll tweet it out for me so people can check that out themselves. And let's see, let's look at, she has 857,000 views and over 6,000 views on this video and 64,000 subscribers. So she's not gonna get demonetized. Really just me. Really just me and the millions of other people who have small YouTube channels that nobody knows exists. I should have played this first. That was a bad mistake. Let's see. Are we done? Might have been nice to actually listen to what she was saying too. She seems to have quite the collection of video games herself. I too have quite the collection of video games, so like some of that I think I'll probably end up giving to the National Video Game Museum someday. Moving on to the next story, Chinese mobile game market sees consumer spending rise by 250% since 2015. So in the past 2 years, mobile game spending has increased more than double. Okay. Let's attack this. And then attack this. Oh, yes, and Susan, the CEO of YouTube, also is working with the European Commission to counter illegal hate speech online. Some of that's good, some of that's bad. The European Commission has gone a little extreme compared to what the United States considers freedom of speech, because they don't really believe in that too much in Europe. And so if YouTube becomes fully compliant with that, you won't be able to say much of anything without somebody complaining. That's not really news. Let's see. Someone's spectating me, but I'm not gonna win. So, shame for them. The game for We Happy Few will be removed from sale until it's closer to release. And it'd be nice to blame Gearbox for this in any way, but Gearbox was really just a publisher. This is all on Compulsion Games, and it seems to me like something's not going right. Yeah. He's got the pack quest smiley face. Okay. How he commented, I don't know. I'm supposed to be silent right now. I'm supposed to be marked as busy. Let's see if we can win in anything. We'll stay with the Murloc. We'll play on casual. We'll see if we can win for this guy. Try to be nice to people, even when people aren't nice to you. That's something to learn too. Is like when somebody's being mean to you, when YouTube's kicking you out of the partner program, when you're not feeling like being the nicest guy ever. That's probably when you should be really starting to try to be nice to other people. Like, maybe it doesn't come back on you. I'm not saying that there's a karma or anything. In fact, I can pretty much guarantee there's no such thing as karma. But why did you start to follow me on YouTube? Oh, a lot of people are going to be asking this question. Let's see. I'm following all my subs so they can reach 1,000 one day if they want to. So PlayStation's Vice President of Developer Relations, I guess, Florian Hunziker, has departed Sony. So if you really wanted to know who was the person that was letting all the garbage in on Sony's store, it probably was this guy. But this does not leave a good taste in people's mouths, because we've had several people now leave Sony. So it feels like rats are leaving a sinking ship at this point, not just people changing. Hunzucker is replaced by Adam Boyes, who recruit a number of third-party developers to the PlayStation 4. It is unclear why Hunzucker left. And he only left it was only in the job for a year. So we may very well see an increase in more games going to Microsoft. Here we go. All of this YouTube drama. Here's YouTube's reward for kicking all the small things. Twitch has signed a deal with Disney to secure exclusive content from some of the entertainment giant's top YouTubers, including Markiplier and Jacksepticeye. There you go, YouTube. A total of 4 YouTubers with a combined total of 44 million subscribers, no less, are involved in the deal. Each will manage their own channels on Twitch. All are part of Disney's digital network, formerly known as Maker Studios. And see, that the irony here is, as I'm kicked out of the YouTube Partner Program, I probably couldn't get into Disney's digital network, but there's probably a network out there I could get into. We'll see. So Markiplier, Jacksepticeye, Strawberry17, and Lulz U Games, those last two I haven't heard of, will live stream and create exclusive video on demand content for Twitch. It's video on demand, so it's going to sit and stay forever. And that's kind of the problem with Twitch, is that it is this it is unfair to most of the streamers who can only stream, and only the top partnered streamers can make content that will last forever and continue to make money, which was part of the plan on my channel. Is that even though I had a lot of content that hadn't been seen, and I thought I'd eventually get bigger and people would want to come back and watch my old content and it would eventually pay off. Now it doesn't seem like that's as likely to happen. Let's see. As part of a multi-year partnership, some of the content will debut today. But there's no suggestion the above stars will depart YouTube entirely. No suggestion, just a hint that very well may happen. It depends on how many people transition away from YouTube. And to do the to get people to transition is going to be really hard, and you're going to lose a lot of subscribers. But to do Twitch, you can't stream the Twitch and the other and YouTube at the same time and be partnered with Twitch. That's Twitch's rules, not particularly YouTube's. So we got the European accounts done, and there's a free Unguru pack if you log in, so everybody should log in to Hearthstone. Let's see. Twitch creators are now able to create premieres, enabling them to schedule first viewing events around an uploaded video, complete with countdown intros if required. The idea seems to be to attract more creators to Twitch by making it easier to alert audiences to new upcoming content rather than simply having it appear online waiting for it to be discovered. Once a premiere is over, they'll be available on demand as past premieres. There also is an option to broadcast reruns, which are exactly what they sound like, rebroadcast of existing videos. And see, depending on how all of that worked, that almost solves what I needed on Twitch. See, win 3 games with the Druid, Battlecry Divine Minions. Let's see if we can do this. Hearthstone keeps telling me it's giving me cards or showing me pictures of cards, and then I'm not getting those cards. So I don't know. Like, Hearthstone's been glitched for a long time now. This is an Asian account, so we don't do anything for any gold or anything like that. Let's just disenchant the extras and look at the new. See, the thing here is you can't have the biggest YouTuber, PewDiePie, and Logan Paul go over to Twitch because they just don't want them. So I imagine Disney's Maker Studios, whatever, people are the people that you would have to go for if you're signing a big deal. In a weird way, this is also exactly what it seems like, or the rumor is, of what happened with the Viners that are now Viners like Logan Paul that are ruining YouTube. Wanted to sign a big contract with Vine, instead Vine went out of business, and they then signed a big contract or got a big deal with Susan. Really, I don't even want to say with YouTube. They really kind of signed the big contract and were wanted by, it seems, Susan Wojcicki particularly. There we go. We've got a custom druid with a bunch of Battlecry things, so we'll play on casual and see how this goes. Heck, we'll just play on ranked. It's not an end-all to be-all thing. What Twitch really should have done here, if they were gonna totally kick YouTube while it was down, they would have said, come over to Twitch, we have this easy transfer your videos over function, and it would start downloading all your videos from your YouTube channel and broadcasting it out, and really like really doing something cool. Like, if it could get all the metadata, if it could get all the tags, if it could get everything that people have spent a lot of effort on out of YouTube, and at the very least make a backup, even if YouTube changed its mind, or if YouTube's not really going anywhere and they're not really kicking out, they're not really going to delete small channels, which I'm not sure. Like, I believe that. I think at the end of the day, their next step will be, let's just delete all the small channels. But they've run into a slight problem of all the people who've put like the wedding videos on YouTube, and so they'd have to give a much longer time frame to say, you have 1 year to download these videos because we're deleting them all, and I don't think they'd probably waste their time on that. Well, let's see, how do we want to do this? Snakes. So this, then this. Your Gamer has a review for Street Fighter V Arcade Edition. Apparently, Arcade Edition, as I understand it, is Season 3 of Street Fighter V. They're giving it an essential Your Gamers. Not that I really trust Your Gamers reviews. But I imagine if you are a Street Fighter fan, you do want to do that. Let's see, freeze an enemy. Let's go ahead and hit this guy and then do this. Yep. Explosive trap, we saw that coming. And wandering guy. Go ahead and play that too. The Activision CEO Eric Herzberg is to step down in March. So Blizzard Activision is the guys that have been mishandling Destiny. But they are also the people that run World of Warcraft and Hearthstone, the game I'm playing right now, and Diablo. So there's a interesting twist, I suppose, there. Now that we know he's stepping down, that might mean something. Let's see. He's been doing it for 8 years, so it feels more probably like he's just tired of it. They've had historic performance and great success during his 8 years, arguably true. Although one might argue that Diablo 2 was the last great Diablo, and with the exception of Overwatch, there's not a ton of other elements. Give a friendly beast plus 3 health. I don't have a friendly beast. Interesting. Still playing all these secrets. So we'll see what happens. Activision Blizzard is actively scouting for his replacement. Wouldn't be surprised if the CEO of Activision turns out to be the former Sony guy. Although that would be an odd change, because it's not like Activision Blizzard games were specifically being run, or especially being run on Sony consoles. I'm a little tired. Nintendo hardware sold a combined 2.6 million units in December alone. And from what I've heard, also, the Nintendo Switch has outsold the PlayStation 4 3-1, which is not a completely fair comparison, because like the PS4 is old and already the market's saturated, but it is something to take note of. All these traps. All these traps. But the Switch is selling. That is certainly the truth. I've started watching Twitter Moments, and I may stop watching it because it is a little bit full of random stuff I don't care about. But apparently a YouTuber named Ellie Darby emailed a Irish a Dublin, Ireland hotel and asked to stay there for free in exchange for exposure for like 5 nights. So effectively, hotels at minimum, even if you're in a bad one, are going to cost you $50-$60 a night. So you're talking $300 minimum. Probably in Dublin, Ireland, it's even more expensive. For free. And their response was to ban all bloggers. It's like, okay, fair enough. Let's keep playing. Like, why somebody came out and banned all bloggers seems like some craziness. Oh yeah, YouTube is also deleting any Tide Pod challenges, which I thought that problem would just solve itself really eventually. Enough people would just poison themselves and realize it's stupid, or they would just die. Just be basic Darwin awards. But the Tide Pod certainly shows a lot of the negative part of being attempting to be a YouTuber and attempting to be famous. It's so hard to get views. It's so hard to think of original content. It's real easy to go down that dark road and just hurt yourself. And let's face it, things like Jackass, the TV show that was on a couple decades ago at this point, didn't help anything. Once TV and became trash, and they let people who were doing dangerous, self-destructive things become celebrities instead of putting them in mental asylums where they probably belonged, or just not giving them any exposure, which is what they should have done. Once they open that door, it's pretty impossible to close it. Let's see. Gamasutra has an article called "The Cost of Games." Yeah, there was a different article about people suggesting that Let's Players are killing single player experiences because people are just watching the Let's Players. I think that's not really true, and if it was the case, then why aren't we just having more people content ID or copyright single player run throughs? Like, my entire channel is single player stuff for the most part. Maybe I did 1 or 2 hours of multiplayer. Well, I guess Hearthstone counts as many hours of multiplayer. So the 4,000 out of 5,000 videos are single player experience. And I don't think I've hurt the industry. I haven't gotten tons of content IDs or copyright strikes. It's really just a convenient excuse. The real problem is people are not willing to stay within a budget or establish a realistic budget. They want to spend more and more making games look more and more realistic, and that's just not going to work. Like, in most companies, you invest in something and then you stop spending on that. You buy a laser copy machine and then you use that laser copy machine for potentially 10-15 years even. You don't buy a copy machine and then the next year buy a new copy machine, and then the next year buy a new copy machine, and the next year buy a new one. You just don't need to do that. The same is true in video games. You shouldn't shouldn't invest in animators to animate something and then in the sequel have animators reanimate the same thing, or invest in an engine that's supposed to be used throughout your entire company and then next year decide to improve that engine even more and more. Like, we had good games 10 years ago. We just don't need to continue to make them bigger. And there is this previous generation 10 years ago where a lot of games were incredibly varied with lots and lots of different like gameplay things and gameplay modes, multiplayers, online, a lot of stuff in games of a previous generation. Resident Evil 5 is a great example of that. Like, if Resident Evil 5 was just the single player, it's a fine game. They could have easily sold the other stuff as small side games. They did sell a lot of it as DLC, but you got a lot in RE4. You got a lot in RE5 when you got those gold editions. That's part of the reason why it's going to take me forever to play all of RE5 is I'm going to do DLC that I don't even think I owned. Let's see. Next story, Bungie apologized again after another bad week for Destiny 2. Honestly, you're just, if you're still playing Destiny 2, I don't. What are you thinking? PUBG is going to ban 100,000 cheaters in a single wave. The blue zone balances are being tested, so I imagine those two things are connected. When the blue zone balances are ready to be implemented, I imagine they have a list of 100,000 cheaters they're already going to ban. Although, why are they waiting? Nintendo Switch's most downloaded game in 2017 was Stardew Valley. That's not super surprising. And Space Invaders Extreme, that was something I was going to look up. Interesting, I guess I've gotten all the way to the Humble Bundle, and there's been a lot of stories about the game industries, but very little stories about any games, because I don't have any new games to look up on my Steam account and add to the wish list or do anything like that. And I don't know about this whole marathon idea. It's like, I was hoping somebody would come on the chat and say this was a great idea or this was a stupid idea. But I also think maybe I'll do it anyways just to have something happening on the weekend and as an experiment of weekend viewing. Maybe we'll start at midnight. Midnight Central Time. I need 4 more battle cries. There's no new Humble store. I have 2 of those open, so I can close one of that. Let's see. Videos. I'm in my Twitch thing. How would I upload a video? Just to get the desktop. Let's see. My channel video manager. Drag and drop a select video files to upload. Twitch uploader supports MP4, FLV, encoding. Maximum file size is 20 gigabytes. 20 gigabytes. Let's see. So it says over here, introducing premieres. Upload your video, schedule a premiere, get the word out. Watch with your community. Learn more premieres. Alright, how premieres YouTube videos work. Finally, you'll need to. Firstly, you'll need to upload your video under the video manager. And see, that's the thing, is I just don't think Twitch is set up to even emulate half the settings that are on on YouTube. You can do it in 30-minute increments. So theoretically, I could just put up the same videos that I'm doing now until I was partnered with Twitch, and then at the point I was no longer partnered with Twitch, I couldn't put the videos up on YouTube. So it might just become a race to see who's willing to actually let me make a career out of my efforts, and the answer will probably be neither. But I think I do want to try this, so I won't upload it now, of course, because that'll mess up my stream. But I think I'll take my intro, download it, and put it up and schedule that and see what happens. Like, I'm really only playing for Battlecry things right now. Attack. There we go. Let's go back to Twitter. Yeah, after this game, we'll just wrap up and go to the post shot. Alright, Overwatch League Pro suspended for homophobic insult against the opponent. Felix XQC Lingail of the Dallas Fuel dropped a slur against Austin Mama Wilmot following a loss to the Houston Outlaws. Okay. So we're gonna consistently have that as an issue. I don't. Kids just of this generation, and probably the next generation, and probably the generation after that, like, it's gonna be really hard to break them of how there needs to be an insult word we teach to kids that isn't really offensive, but they think it is, and it has to be so sneaky that nobody ever figures it out. Because that's the only way this is going to work. Because when you're trying to hurt somebody's feelings and you're not thinking straight, you are going to just go for the most offensive thing you know. And as long as these words exist in the memory of history until they're completely erased, there's not a lot you can do. Let's see if this paladin here has divine shield things in it. It does, but I'm not sure it has as many as I could have. Let's type in shield and see. I might have gotten some more divine shield cards that I could trade. Nope, that is literally everything I have. Well, nope, not completely. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. Nope, I don't want that one. I want that one. And that one. And take these out. Let's get rid of this Murloc. This probably has more to do with playing Paladin cards than it does. There we go. Playing Divine Shield cards. But now it's a Divine Shield deck. So, let's see. Let me scroll down real quick on the news. In the post-game show, we will play 10 Divine Shields and try to get 2 more victories. And let's see, on Twitter, is there anything really important to talk about? Netflix Castlevania animated series season 2 premieres this summer. Hopefully it's longer than the season 1, which is really just a teaser, if I was to be generous. Here's an article on how they do awesome games done quick. That'll be slightly interesting. YouTube Gaming retweeted somebody playing Street Fighter. YouTube Gaming really failed in so many different ways. Like, honestly, that fixes a lot of the problem. If you could stay in the partner programming if you were part of YouTube Gaming, that solves a significant number of people being kicked out. Because gaming channels are clearly not Elsa Gate channels nor terrorist channels. And I guess you'd still need to process those things, but it might be a little easier to process somebody's channel if you're just looking for video games. But yeah, it totally failed to promote anything. Let's see, scrolling down on my Twitter. I'm still trying to get subscribers, but I guess I'm also kind of not sweating it now. I'm a little sweating it, but I'm trying not to sweat it as far as subscribers. I would like to get to 1,000, but let's face it, it seems like it's an unlikely thing. I would need every single subscriber I have to find at least minimum 4 people to subscribe to my channel, whether or not they watch any of it or not. Doesn't seem like it matters too much, although I do need somebody to watch marathon a bunch of things, play it in the background. Let's go over to the Americas account. Now on the Americas account, I'll just cheat, as is my new habit now. Is save time, just play my secondary account. Let's see, I might have a message on the Americas account too. That's the one that has me marked as busy. See, we've got 3 things and new things to talk about. Win 2 games with the Shaman and Warlock. Play 20 minions that cost 5 or more. Play 30 Shaman class cards. So you've got some overlap here of playing Shaman class cards, and then 5+ is something that could be done. 3 40 gold Quest not super helpful. Let's go ahead and open these card packs. At least do a card pack opening. Ooh, an epic. It's always nice to see an epic on my main account, because that's hopefully filling in my collection. These Journey to Unguru cards, nice to have. Maybe I'll never play it. Another epic. No. We'll see if either one of those epic cards actually get turned into dust. Yeah, one of them does for 100 gold, which puts me at 500, and it puts the only thing that I'm missing. I don't know. Let's see what we're missing actually. I need another one of these for 400. Let's go miss. So if I go missing and classic, I've got an epic, an epic, an epic, a legendary, an epic, and an epic, and none of this. So create one of those. And that clears off another tab. So slowly we're getting a complete classic collection. And if we go standard cards, here we go missing. Do we have anything we could craft? I don't think so. Like, I think I've crafted all the common. Well, let's see. We could do this. Sure, why not? Well, craft those 100 dust things and get this down to just epics and legendaries. That'd be nice. Well, yeah, I feel a little low energy in this recording, to be honest. It's mostly just tiredness, though. There's definitely some nerves. There's definitely some frustration with this whole YouTube thing. It's completely unfair. Like most problems in life, it just comes up out of nowhere, and it in this case really had nothing to do with anything I had done, other than I suppose I was supposed to be more of a shill and just beg people for subscriptions. So yeah, there's frustration here. That's gonna be it for this recording. Stay tuned for the post show. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.